So let's see if we can subtract 25 from 83, or if we can figure out what 83 minus 25 is. And I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can work through it. So I'm assuming you've had a try, and when you tried to work through it, you probably first went to the ones place right over here, and you probably said, hey, I have 3 ones on top, and from that I want to subtract 5 ones. But then you said, wait, I can't subtract 5 ones from 3 ones. 5 is more than 3. What do I do? And what you do is what I'm about to show you. You do something called regrouping. You take some of the value that's in the tens place and put it into the ones place. What am I talking about? And I'm going to do it 3 different ways so you really hopefully understand what's going on. Well, you want this 3 to be more ones. You want it to be at least as large as 5 or larger. So how do you do that? Well, you could take a 10 from the tens place. So instead of having 8 tens here, you could take one of them away, and then you're going to have 7 tens here. And then if you take a 10, because I just took a 10 away from here, and you put it in the ones place, that's going to be 10. So 10 plus 3 is 13. 10 plus 3 is 13. So what did I do again? 83 is 8 tens and 3 ones. You could also think of it as 7 tens and 13 ones. And I'm going to do it again in a couple of different ways to make that clear. But let's just work through this now. Because now you have 13 ones minus 5 ones, which is going to be 8 ones. And then you go to the tens place and you say 7 tens minus 2 tens. Well, that's going to be 5 tens. So your answer is going to be 5 tens and 8 ones, or 58. Now I said I would do this several ways so that it makes a little bit more sense, so let's do that. So another way that you could write 83 is you could write this. This is the same thing as 80 plus 3. 80 plus 3. That's the same thing as 83. 8 tens, 3 ones, 8 tens, 3 ones. And 25 is the same thing, as 20 plus 5. 20 plus 5. Now we're going to subtract 20 plus 5. So let's write this instead as we're going to subtract 20, we're going to subtract 2 tens, and we're going to subtract 5 ones. So subtracting 25 is the same thing as subtracting 20 and then subtracting 5. So now let's try to work through it, just like we did. Well, we go to the ones place again, and once again we say, hey, 5, if I want to take 5 away from 3, that's hard, I don't know how to do that just yet. But what if I take 10 from here? So if I take a 10, if I take 10 from there, that's going to be 70. And if I put that 10 in the ones place, well, 10 plus 3 is going to be 13. Notice, I haven't changed the value of the number. 70 plus 13 is the exact same thing as 80 plus 3, which is 83. But what's useful about this is now, in the ones place, I can subtract 5 from 13. Well, if I subtract 5 from 13, I'm going to get an 8. And then if I subtract 2 tens from 7 tens, or 20 from 70, I'm going to get 50. I'm going to get 50. So this is going to end up being 50 plus 8, which is the exact same thing as 58. 5 tens and 8 ones. Now I said I would do it a third way. And these are all the same way. I'm just writing it down in different ways. So I could also write 83. I could write this down as 8 tens plus 3 ones. Plus 3 ones. All right, this is the tens place. This is the ones place. 8 tens, 3 ones. And I'm going to subtract 2 tens and 5 ones. So I could write, so this is going to be minus 2 tens, and minus 3 ones. Sorry, and minus 5 ones. Minus 5 ones. 25 is the same thing as 20 and 5. If I'm subtracting 25, that's the same thing as subtracting 20 and then subtracting 5. And that's the same thing as subtracting 2 tens and then subtracting 5 ones. 2 tens and 5 ones. So let's then work this out. So this is going to be, well, as soon as we try to subtract 5 ones from 3 ones, we say, hey, wait, that's not making any sense. Let me make the value here larger, and I'm going to do that by regrouping from the tens place. So instead of writing this as 8 tens, I'm going to take one of those tens away. I'm going to write it as 7 tens, and then put that 10 in the ones place. Well, 1 10 is equal to 10 ones. So if I add it to the 3, this is going to be 13 ones. And now I can subtract. 13 ones minus 5 ones is 8 ones. And 7 tens minus 2 tens is 5 tens. 5 tens. And we are done. These are all different ways of doing this exact same problem with regrouping.